Hey guys, have you ever noticed how birds set so much of the atmosphere they're in, even though they're so tiny? I have. In this video, we'll dive into the small but often overlooked world of backyard birds, specifically around northeastern America. I hope you'll enjoy the footage of these cute and captivating birds, and I hope you find this mini documentary insightful. In this clip, you can observe somewhat of a dispute between these brown-headed cowbirds. These two are females, as they have brown-grayish coat, and the males have a lighter brown head with black iridescent body. I've observed these birds to be more laid back and less shy than most of the other birds, so they'll stay at the feeder for longer and are less likely to get scared off by other bird species. They eat grains like millet and often travel in male-female pairs. This is a black-capped chickadee, and you can see how it got its name. These are among the cutest and tiniest birds you'll see at the feeder. With their distinctive appearance, they are pretty recognizable. They are pretty evasive and timid, as they will not feed with other birds around, and they'll seldom come to the feeder, so it's a cherished sight every time you see them. They'll quickly grab one sunflower seed and fly off with it. Something I've seen these guys do is hold down the seed with their feet and crack open the shell with their beak. The tufted titmouse looks very similar and behaves similarly to the chickadee, taking just one sunflower seed at a time and running off with it. They have a silvery coat with a white chest, orange flanks underneath the wings, and have little crests that are used for display. What I like about these birds the most, though, are their black round eyes. They just make this bird look so adorable and innocent. I've seen a group of about 5 tufted titmice together, so I think that they're a single family. They fly around everywhere and make a lot of noise and are very energetic and social. One of the more common birds in people's yards is the housefinch. These are very social birds and live in large flocks. The males have a red head, chest, neck, and rump, while the females are just plain brown with stripes. Like the cowbirds, these birds eat grains, but due to their evolved thicker and stronger beaks, they can crack sunflower seeds as well. I've noticed that every time they're together, which is very common, they always chirp together. These finches tolerate other bird species very well, but as always, there are exceptions. Meet the chipping sparrow, the smaller relative to the more common house sparrow. The chipping sparrow sports a rusty cap and black streaks across its eyes. It has a crest that can move up and down for display. This sparrow is very small, almost as small as a chickadee. I've seen them travel almost always in pairs, leading me to believe that those two are mates. Since the chipping sparrow does not seem to be very aggressive, I've seen them share the feeder with titmice, cardinals, house finches, and nuthatches without much trouble. They're actually very daring despite their tiny size. Now these fellows, white-breasted nuthatches, are very interesting because they live a woodpecker lifestyle even though they're not woodpeckers, crawling upside down, up and down, all over trees. They have a white belly, hence the name, a black top, and a bluish-gray back. Even though they're not related to woodpeckers, you can observe a lot of physical adaptations similar to woodpeckers, like its long, thin beak and very long, curved claws for digging into bark. Like chickadees and titmice, being evasive, these birds tend to come to the feeders, grab a sunflower seed, and fly immediately back to its nest. They'll also eat cracked corn. I've seen a pair of nuthatches fly around the yard, so I think that those two are also a mate pair. One of the most popular birds in North America is the blue jay. Just like house finches, blue jays come in very large flocks, and the one near my yard is about 8 members large. They always stand out from the other birds, being pretty big and bright blue all over. I can always hear them yelling to each other and making lots of noise. They're very social. These birds are very assertive due to their large size and high intelligence, so they'll often dominate the feeder. They all love peanuts so much that they'll sweep up food, like this one's doing, to find their prized peanuts. This can be a little wasteful, so make sure you're using a spill cover. They also enjoy eating bugs like mealworms, along with corn and sunflowers. Sometimes they gather lots of small seeds in their beaks before flying off. These birds can be pretty goofy sometimes, as you can see here. Another very beloved bird in eastern North America is the northern cardinal. These birds are known for their beautiful bright red coat, although only the males possess a full coat of red. Their favorite food are sunflower seeds, which they will happily stay and eat at the feeder until they are full. You can see here that they're absolutely experts at efficiently cracking the shells and eating the seeds. You certainly want to put sunflower seeds, especially black oil sunflower seeds, if you want to attract them to your feeder. Interestingly, although both sexes will tolerate other species, the male seems to be a little more apprehensive and skittish. This is kind of surprising to me, as most male birds are more aggressive. However, they are not afraid to defend themselves. The females, on the other hand, will always peacefully feed with the other species with almost no problems at all. The red-bellied woodpecker. As you can see here, this female is very adamant about having control. You can see the feathers on her back called hackles raise, and the long tongue and beak get shown. What's interesting about these guys is that because they have such long woodpecker beaks, they can gather a lot more grains and corn at a time. Just like the nuthatch, they also have very long, strong claws for gripping onto trees. And they also have zygodactyl feet, meaning they have 2 toes in front and 2 toes in back, unlike most birds, also helping with grip. Because she is so assertive, the female also gets to eat a lot daily and hinders the other birds from coming over. The only other red-bellied woodpecker I've seen is her adorable little fledgling. Now, unlike the red-bellied woodpecker, the mourning dove is very docile and peaceful. There are several mourning doves in the yard, and they almost always remain on the ground. Very rarely do they come to the feeder, only when there's no spilled food on the ground below. They are big and puffy, the biggest at the feeder, but extremely unconfrontational, yet still tolerant of other birds. When you're watching them, you can really see why they're considered peace symbols in many places. They have very beautiful colors, including their pink feet, blue eyelids, and purple iridescent neck. Their diet consists of a wide variety of grains. Finally, we have the catbird. From the beginning, I only saw it visit the feeder very few times, and I didn't know why. Then I added mealworms, and then it wasn't a mystery anymore. This bird sure loves to eat bugs. However, the catbird is pretty skittish and seems to be solitary, so it's pretty elusive. You know you're looking at a catbird if it's all gray except for the patch of black feathers on top of its head and the patch of orange behind its legs. It gets its name from the cat-like sounds it produces, but in my opinion it sounds more of a kitten. That is the end of the video. I sincerely appreciate you guys for watching all the way to the end, and I hope I was able to educate or interest you guys into birding. And if you have any thoughts, let me know. Goodbye.